Well, I am continuing with you on this idea of the call that God has placed on our lives. And I suppose the question is, can you do anything else? Or do you feel so compelled that you can't contain yourself? Do you feel what Jeremiah felt? I can't hold it in. If you do not feel this conviction, very likely you'll not stay when tragedy strikes your family. You will not stay when bombs burst in the streets, or the national pastor betrays you and falsely accuses you. I was just this very week with a family. They have been in Peru for 56 years as missionaries. 56 years. In 1993, their son was taken hostage by the FARC, a terrorist group in Colombia, South America. They held him for nearly 9 years and would not let their parents or anybody communicate with him. And then they killed him for Jesus. But that man and his wife have been faithful. That's exactly what it is. They can't quit. They keep serving God. We need to wait till we feel kind of like Jeremiah felt. Jeremiah said, I will not make mention of him, nor speak any more in his name. But his word was in my heart as a burning fire, shut up in my bones, and I was weary with foreboding, and I could not stay. I couldn't hold it back. I had to keep going. God was at work in my life. Do you understand this is something that got a family through the death of their son, leaving a wife and grandchildren? Do you realize it's something that got us through the rape of our child, false accusations and everything else? It's the call of God that will get you through. If you're called to be a missionary, know that the purpose of your calling is the salvation of the lost. Never forget that God called you, not your church, not your pastor, your family, or even yourself. If you do not keep that in front of you, Satan will easily sidetrack you. Notice what missiologist George W. Peters said. The missionary who is called of God must keep his divine ordination clearly and constantly in mind. He is called to serve the spiritual need of mankind. His grave and constant danger is to be sidetracked and to labor in regard to the symptoms rather than the cause of the illness. As stated before, we do not deny the manifold needs of mankind, nor dare we look upon them in an indifferent manner. A missionary, however, must learn to commit all these needs to God and to remain conscious that he is called of God to meet one particular need of mankind, the deepest need in the soul of a man, the spiritual need, which, if not met, will continue for all eternity and determine man's eternal destiny for woe or glory. The gospel of Jesus Christ, as recorded in the Bible, is the only and sufficient remedy for this basic need. The missionary, therefore, must remain constantly in the proclamation of the gospel of God. Only thus is he loyal and true to the call of God. Do you understand the pressure, the power, what's going on here? Know that God's called you. Know that you're in this because it's what God wants you to do. If God has called you to serve as a missionary, he'll make that clear to you and to all that you encounter. Do not fear to examine yourself and have others do the same. Has God gifted you with the necessary tools? Have you grown and matured personally to be ready to do the ministry? Is God proven to you more than anyone that he called you? And look what John Butler said about Paul and his calling. However, those called of God have a ministry that's far different. It has plenty of evidence to show its validity and can be thoroughly examined without any fear of finding it a fault. Today, unlike in Paul's day, we do not need miracles to give validity to the message we preach. We have the written word of the New Testament, as well as the Old Testament, which can be substantially proven without the need of signs and wonders. We have an encouraging principle here, namely, God always validates his work. If you are called of God Ample proof will be evident concerning your calling, so that unless you are disobedient and backslidden, your calling will be evident to others. Decisions we make regarding the will of God will also be confirmed in evident ways. Miracles are not necessary in these confirmations, for providence and enabling skills will be most sufficient to confirm the will of God. God will make it clear to you and to others that God has called you to be in the ministry. Thank you for listening and hearing about the call. I'd welcome any discussion questions. I'd love to talk to you about it.